Welcome back to GBGuns. Got an exciting one. The full size, the big boy 4.5 inch 18 round PDP personal defense pistol from Walther. We're going to take a look first at the back straps, and you'll see how it fits on my large hands and Tia's smaller female hands. We'll figure out a back strap that works between the two of us, give you some initial impressions just holding the gun and throwing it at steel. We'll do our trademark what's for dinner test to see how it cycles with a variety of loads. We'll do a little bit of a trigger challenge, an accuracy test, then give you our closing thoughts. If you only want to see one or two of those spots, check down below on the little track bar. There are chapter markers for the video, so you can jump right to the part that you want to see. Let's get started. All right, first off, checking the back strap that comes on the gun, assuming the medium one. Not labeled, but does it really matter? You're looking for fit. My hand on here, I can get to the mag release very easily. Also hit the slide release. Memory point for my trigger finger is easy to find, and as far as gripping the trigger, I'm a little past the midpoint of the pad, but certainly controllable. No issues there for me with the medium as the gun comes out of the box. See how it fits Tia's hands.
All right, so we're starting with the medium again, and that just feels really natural. I really like the way that feels. My finger falls perfectly onto the trigger, and I can already reach that mag release. Slide release is right there. I like this hand, this back strap.
Now with the large on, and just the thought that we've gotten, there's a little cutout back here that makes them really easy to pick out and change. It's pretty cool. You do have to drop out the roll pin, which we're leaving out for this. Anyways, with the large, you can see that things have gotten a little higher here, and we've got a little more fill in the tang. It feels like a bigger gun, sort of like a shaped 2x4, nah, 1x2. Let's go with 1x2. Anyways, memory point, easy to get at. Slide release, easy thanks to that long lever. Mag release still works for me, and my trigger finger surprisingly is falling about the same spot on here as it did with the medium. On the 4-inch PDP, I felt a difference. This one, not so much. It is a little more full, higher up in my hand. Maybe not quite as comfortable. Let's see what Tia thinks.
So moving on to the large hand grip for me, I agree with Graham. It's not changing the fit as much as the large grip did on the 4-inch. My memory points are still clean. My finger is still falling to the trigger naturally. I do feel like I would have to reach a little bit further for that mag release, change my grip a little bit. So that for me is not a sell point on the large grip. What I have noted about these, though, as we've changed them out, is that they are made of a material. The material that they're made out of is a little bit more pliable than some back straps from other guns that we've changed. So it makes it a lot easier to change them, very comfortable, and they are marked on the bottom, so you know which one you're putting in, so that's pretty handy, and I'll just demonstrate how easily those come out.
Now with this small on there, and you can see that we've got a little less push in the heel, giving it more of a vertical, a much more vertical feel. This is kind of like a contoured 2011 kind of feel. My finger's definitely going farther on the memory point, and I can now get my knuckle to the trigger, which would be overreaching the trigger. Slide release, slide lock, of course, nice and easy to get to. Mag release, very easy to get to for me. So I'd say it's reduced the reach across there. Not quite as comfortable. I can't put my finger on where it's not as comfortable as the medium was for me, but it certainly has changed the feel, and my trigger finger reach has gotten a lot longer.
All right, so putting my hand in the smaller back strap, I definitely get more real estate, and I am able to reach that mag release much easier than I was with either of the other two. However, this is not as comfortable for me as the medium was. Still able to reach the memory point well. which for me they're really important because, you know, finger off the trigger is imperative. But I too am able to come in a little too far to maintain good trigger control with my finger. In the angle that it's at is the angle that my finger's coming in at is not cool. I don't know how else to tell you that today, but I'm not digging the small one. I think we're gonna probably go with the medium to test this. I get the privilege again of putting the first rounds down range. This is the full-size PDP. We have a reduced size torso at about 20 yards or so. We're gonna each take 10 shots at our own pace, just to get a feel for the gun, so that we are familiar with, you know, recoil, trigger pull, and all of that stuff before we get started on what's for dinner. That is really pleasant to shoot, even when the breath is raining down on my head. So easy to shoot. There's minimal recoil. The trigger is amazing. Let's hear what Graham thinks we can get on with the rest of it.
All right, I've got large hands, so I prefer long guns, larger guns. The PDP offers plenty of real estate for my hand, and of course longer sight radius with that 4.5-inch barrel. Let's get a feel for it. Glad we went with the medium backstrap. It's interesting, you know, we've also tested the 4-inch model, and on that the backstrap had a greater impact on our grips than it does on this longer stocked pistol. Very controllable. Ran out. But yeah, that's a pleasant shooter. You got a little bit of extra weight maybe because it's a larger gun, and obviously all that real estate to hold on to, but very smooth tracking, easy to shoot. Let's see what it eats in What's for Dinner. Part of the What's for Dinner is basics function checking of the gun. Yes, we have shot some rounds through it, but full mag +1 stuffs the gun and the mag. Sort of a test of the quality of the magazines made. Giving us 19 rounds. We're using Federal White Box 115 grain training ammo, and we just want to make sure the gun runs through a full mag without any issues. Same steel torso out there. For me to have something to aim at, to save us both time, I'm going to try to push myself on speed while also trying to land those hits to give it a bit of a challenge and learn a little bit more about the gun. Here goes. Oh, and we have a failure to eject. It appears the slide short stroke there. The empty casing is jammed up against the lid of the hood of the barrel, if you will. Now we're at a normal full mag capacity here. Interesting. This is softer than average ammo. I said it's Federal White Box training ammo, but that's a choke. I don't know if you guys could see it from there. I did while shooting. Some sparks of slow burning powder coming out. Hard to say if that malfunction we experienced was gun or ammo based. That is not premium ammo for sure. I'd love to blame that. just because I know Walthers tend to run well, but it could be the gun. Unfortunately, this is 2021, which means we've just endured 2020, and we don't have the ammo to replicate that test. So take it as it is, always test the ammo that you intend on running. Let's get to what's for dinner. Who's hungry? It's what's for dinner time, the GBGuns signature and trademark test. We run 10 different loads of different bullet weights, shapes, and profiles, 3 shots each through the gun. Now, before we get into this, I gotta say a huge thanks to our Patreon and Ammo Squared subscription supporters. You guys make this possible. As you know, we are not pay for play. We're not bought out by anybody, nor do we sell stuff to you guys. So the way we afford this is from your support. The purpose of this test is to see if the gun will pick up from slide lock on each of these different shapes. Is there enough energy to cycle the gun, eject properly, feed the next one, and enough energy to lock the slide open? 3 rounds helps reduce variables while also keeping this short and to the point. We're not testing the full mag, that's done in full mag +1. We're testing to see how the ammo works. Now, you notice that each round has a different shape and profile. It's also going to have its own energy impulse, and we've got different casing materials. Each casing material has a different friction coefficient, different expansion and contraction rate, especially this aluminum and steel case. The nickel-plated brass tends to be really slick. We also have some black nickel-plated brass over here, and we're running from 65 grain up to 158 grain, including hollow points, flat nose, and FMJs. Let's see how the PDP does. Our first load is Liberty Civil Trainer, 65 grain, super lightweight, advertised velocity of 1710, plus we have a longer barrel, plus we have the Walther step chamber. This is gonna be screaming. Tends to be a little snappier in recoil. And it certainly is. I don't know if the mic picks it up, but it sounds different. Woo!
I actually feel that percussion.
I definitely felt the slide slam back when it locked, but no cycling issues and grouped well. Coming in at 100 grains is Z-Clean. This is a zinc lead-free round. Great for states and ranges that have restrictions on that kind of thing. Tends to be a softer round, also lighter projectile. Will it run a longer slide? More great accuracy out of the PDP, no cycling issues. Winchester Silver Tip, 115 grain hollow point. This stuff has some bite to it for sure, but it's the standard 115 grain that Americans like to shoot. Definitely has heavier recoil. No cycling issues. That second one printed right in the middle there.
Very nice.
Wish I could do that with every shot. Now on to aluminum cased Blazer 115 grain. Remember, aluminum's got different friction in the chamber, different expansion and contraction rate with the heat, so sometimes some cycling issues. It is, however, cheaper and tends to be softer shooting. It is a brisk February morning. Shot well, lock the slide to the rear. Now the Wolf steel cased 115 grain, same thing as aluminum. It's cheaper to shoot, well, cheaper to make, but does sometimes cause cycling issues. It's got some authority. No cycling issues.
And for my first of the 5, this is the Archon Match Defense in 124 grain. It's black nickel plated. Super pretty stuff. Very pleasant to shoot. I really enjoy that stuff.
Nice performance.
Thank you. And next is the Federal Syntech 147 grain training ammo. Stuff always has a pleasant smell, we note. Point of impact was higher with those. And for my third group, I'll use the Spear Gold Dot. These are 147 grain jacketed hollow point. Those also went a little higher.
Getting extra speed out of this longer barrel.
And for my fourth group, the SIG V-Crown Elite Performance, these are also 147 grain. These tend to be pretty pleasant, the jacketed hollow point there. But it is pretty interesting to note how that the gun and the ammo work together and how that can change depending on what you're shooting. Working against a little bit of wind.
Nice shooting though.
And lastly, the PPU 158 grain subsonic rounds.
These will definitely be subsonic even out of this longer barrel.
Wind is pushing me and it's annoying. There it goes.
Yeah, stack 2 of them. So for our part 1 of accuracy, we have another treat coming for you. 5 shots at 7 yards using Nosler 115 grain match ammunition, the most consistent and precise ammunition that I've tested. We use that to reduce variable because you're seeing this free-handing shots from 7 yards from 2 shooters. Are we good shooters or is it a good gun? That's a variable. The ammo is not. This stuff tends to be punchy, so with this longer barrel I'm expecting even more. Oh yeah, fireballs. I mashed that last one. Embarrassment. But overall pretty good. Gun remained controllable.
All right, it's my turn for 5 shots from about 7 yards. This part is always fun for me. Unless I don't do well, and then it's really unpleasant for Graham later. But I don't think he regrets taking me to front sight.
Nice group.
Thank you.
Now a fun challenge using our Titan Great Outdoors spinner. That's a 6-inch spinner. It's probably about 15 yards away, and we've allowed ourselves 8 rounds trying to get the spinner to go over the top. The challenge there is you have to time your shot well, hit it while it's retreating, not while it's approaching, otherwise you kill the momentum and end it. How it helps in an evaluation of a gun and why you should care is it gives us a great chance to see how well the gun settles, sight picture on a small target, timing a shot, meaning trigger predictability and controllability, and it's a little bit of fun. Here goes. I'm hoping this longer barrel gives us a little bit of an advantage on energy.
Ooh.
I missed. And I flinched at the end. So as you saw, the more you hit it, the faster it gets moving, the tougher it is. That's why we enjoy the challenge, because it's a speed pressure that we don't have control over. It's all based on how well the gun's going. I didn't have any real hard time lining up those shots. It was more just in here, control it, but the gun did well for it.
I think Graham explained it all pretty well. I'm just gonna get to it so that I don't psych myself out too much. That first shot's always easy though. Thank God for iPro. Oh!
So close.
Oh! A little bit of a failure to eject there, but I'm pretty sure that's my last round. Yep. I got closer than I did in times past.
What do you think about trigger control, sights, etc. for the PDP?
Oh, this gun made that absolutely possible. Just the manageability of it, the recoil, the trigger reset, being able to come back down on sights. I think I missed one shot, and that was because I went a little bit too fast. Had nothing to do with the capabilities of the gun at all. So the new Walther PDP line, I'm really impressed with them in that they're rugged but still very well crafted, and so you get all of the expected Walther perks that you've come to expect, in that they're just very well designed. These guns fit me really well, even though this being the full size is a little too large for me to carry just in frame length alone. If I could, I would, because it's a great weapon. The stippling on it initially comes off really strong, but it's not at all like it just fits. It's just a little bit too long for an EDC, but perfect for anything else that I would want to use. Especially if I carried out a waistband, I could still do this, and that's awesome.
So the PDP, you've seen us do the 4-inch, and we love that gun. The 4.5-inch with the longer slide, longer sight radius, easier to aim, just as flat shooting as the 4-inch, which you'd expect. Very controllable, all the real estate in the world for large hands, and 18+1 makes it a full duty size gun. I think between this and the 4-inch, if you're going to go to a training course and be running lots of rounds and doing lots of drills over time, these guns would make those courses easy for you, in that you're not going to be questioning the gun, you're not going to be questioning the grip. I proverbial hats off to how ergonomically wise they made the medium pack strap fit my hand and Tia's hand best out of the group. I mean, Walther's known for the ergonomics, so I guess it's not a surprise, but it still just fits well. This is not a gun that would be a regret purchase, I don't think, for anyone. It is larger, but it's the full size, it's the duty size. Of course it's going to be larger like that, but wow, how far have striker fired guns come. This trigger, very predictable, very clean break, very controllable, and those sights being tight makes it very easy to aim. We didn't run it with a red dot on it because we wanted to test it out of the box and not have our choice of red dot affect how the review of the gun came out. If you'd like to see some red dot stuff, let us know, and we can certainly throw some on there. Once again, big thanks to our Patreon and our Ammo Squad supporters for making this possible. Ammo has been pretty hard to come by. As you know, we're not sponsored, we're not owned by anyone. Doing these videos has gotten a little bit tougher, and you guys have made it possible for us. We're glad we had the opportunity to do the PDP, and I strongly suggest looking into one if you're in the market for your next striker gun.